The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the exploration vessel Resolute, its sleek hull reflecting the dim light of distant stars. Captain Daria Holt sat in the command chair, her sharp eyes scanning the holographic readouts. It had been weeks since the Resolute entered this uncharted sector, chasing faint signals of potential life. So far, the silence had been deafening. "Captain," Lieutenant Marcus Hale's voice cut through the quiet hum of the bridge. "We're picking up something unusual. A distress signal, I think. Originating from 0.3 light-years ahead. Details?" Holt leaned forward, her interest piqued. Hale's fingers danced over his console. "It's faint but structured. Definitely artificial. No indication of who or what sent it. Triangulating now." A murmur ran through the bridge crew. The silence of this sector was broken, and curiosity crackled like static in the air. "Set a course," Holt ordered. "Bring us within scanning range." The Resolute adjusted its trajectory, engines humming with purpose. Hours later, the ship emerged into a desolate region of space. Ahead, floating silently against the backdrop of stars, was a massive derelict spacecraft. Its jagged hull bore scars of what looked like violent conflict, gashes too precise to be natural. "By the gods," muttered Dr. Elena Vicarian, the ship's xenolinguist and archaeologist. "That design. It's nothing like anything we've cataloged." "Is it still transmitting?" Holt asked. "Yes," Hale confirmed. "But the signal is degrading. Whatever's powering it won't last much longer." "Prepare an away team," Holt said decisively. "Dr. Vicarian, you're with me. Hale, you're in charge here." Minutes later, the away team boarded a shuttle, their faces lit with a mix of anticipation and unease. As they docked with the alien vessel, the scale of its abandonment became clear. Its corridors, once vibrant with purpose, were dark and cold, littered with debris. Holt activated her suit's lights. "Stay close and keep comms open." The team moved cautiously through the ship's labyrinthine interior, the silence punctuated only by the sound of their breathing and the occasional creak of metal. Vicarian scanners beeped softly, guiding them toward the source of the signal. "It's coming from the central chamber," she said, her voice hushed. When they arrived, the sight was both breathtaking and chilling. The chamber was vast, its walls inscribed with intricate carvings in an alien script. At the center, suspended in a field of faint blue light, was a crystalline artifact, pulsing with a slow, rhythmic glow. Vicarian approached the artifact, her scanner trembling in her hands. This is some kind of data storage device. Maybe a warning beacon. The carvings suggest an urgent message. Can you translate it?" Holt asked, keeping a wary eye on the artifact. Vicarian nodded, pulling out a portable translator. As she worked, a low vibration coursed through the room. The artifact's glow intensified, casting eerie shadows across the walls. Captain," called one of the engineers, his voice tight with fear. "The ship's power systems just spiked. Something's waking up." "Vicarian, how much longer?" Holt demanded. "Almost there." Vicarian's fingers flew across the device. Suddenly, the translator emitted a series of tones before a single phrase appeared on its screen. "Run while you still can." The words hung heavy in the air, their meaning sinking into the team's minds like icy claws. "Captain, we need to leave." "Now," Vicarian said, her voice trembling. Before Holt could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Through the chamber's observation window, the team saw something vast and shadowy approaching. An entity so immense it seemed to blot out the stars. Its form was indistinct, a shifting amalgamation of black and silver, with countless glowing eyes. "Move!" Holt barked. The team sprinted back toward their shuttle, the ship groaning as if in protest. Behind them, the alien artifact's glow turned crimson, and a high-pitched whine filled the air. As they boarded the shuttle and launched away from the derelict, the alien vessel began to collapse in on itself, consumed by the approaching entity. The Resolute sensors flared to life as the shuttle docked. "Full power to engines," Holt ordered. "Get us out of here." The ship surged forward, leaving the alien craft and its monstrous pursuer behind. In the silence of the bridge, the crew exchanged grim glances. What the hell was that thing? Hale asked, his voice barely a whisper. Vakarian held up the translator, the ominous message still displayed. I don't know, she said, but whatever it was, this ship, this artifact, it was warning us. And now we've brought it with us. Captain Holt stared at the screen, her jaw tight. The words glared back at her, stark and undeniable. Run, while you still can. The Resolute accelerated into the void, the stars blurring past as the crew silently grappled with the chilling realization that they had uncovered something far beyond their comprehension, and that it might already be too late to escape. The Resolute cruised through the void, the derelict vessel and its monstrous pursuer left behind. But the sense of safety was fleeting. The alien artifact now rested in a reinforced containment chamber, emitting a faint, rhythmic pulse that seemed to resonate through the entire ship. Dr. Elena Vakarian stood in the observation room, staring at the artifact behind its transparent barrier. Its crystalline surface shimmered faintly, as if alive. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching her. Vakarian, Captain Holt's voice broke through the intercom. Report to the bridge. We need an update on that thing. Minutes later, Vakarian joined the crew on the bridge. A grim tension hung in the air. What do we know? Holt asked, leaning against the console. Vakarian hesitated. The artifact is more than a warning beacon. A recorder. It's storing data, memories, perhaps, of whatever destroyed that alien civilization. And I think it's projecting some of those memories into the ship. Projecting? Hale frowned. What does that mean? The dreams, Vakarian said. The whispers. Everyone's been reporting strange phenomena since we brought the artifact aboard. It's not just us imagining things. It's broadcasting. The room fell silent. Could it be a weapon? Holt asked. Unlikely, Vakarian said. It's not causing harm directly, but its presence is destabilizing. The power surges, the strange behavior of the ship systems. This artifact isn't meant to coexist with our technology. Before Holt could respond, the ship's lights flickered. A low hum reverberated through the deck, followed by a burst of static over the comms. Captain, an engineer's voice crackled through the speakers. We've got a major energy spike in the containment chamber. On screen, Holt ordered. The main display showed the artifact, its pulsations now rapid and erratic. Surrounding it were faint holographic images, shifting in and out of focus. They depicted an alien race, tall and spindly, fleeing from shadowy figures that seemed to dissolve everything they touched. It's showing us their final moments, Vakarian whispered, her face pale. The images shifted again, showing a massive fleet of ships. The alien race attempted to fight back, but their weapons were useless. The shadows swept through them like an unstoppable tide. As the holograms faded, the artifact emitted a piercing tone, and a new phrase appeared on the screen. They speak the words, and all is lost. What does that mean? Hale asked, his voice tight with fear. Vakarian shook her head. I don't know, but whatever this race faced, they wanted to ensure no one else suffered the same fate. The artifact was their warning to the galaxy. Captain, another officer interrupted. We've got a signal coming in. Multiple sources. It's the same phrase. Broadcast in dozens of languages. Put it on speakers, Holt said. The bridge filled with overlapping voices, all saying the same chilling words. They are coming. Vakarian's breath hitched. We've activated it, she said. The warning wasn't just for us. The artifact has called them back. Holt straightened, her jaw set. Then we need to be ready. Whatever's coming, we won't go down without a fight. But as the crew worked in tense silence, they couldn't ignore the whispers that seemed to grow louder, echoing through the ship's corridors. They are coming. The phrase, they are coming, echoed through the Resolute, not just in the ship's speakers but in the minds of its crew. It was as though the words themselves had weight, sinking into the recesses of their consciousness. The artifact sat dormant in its containment chamber now, its earlier pulsations replaced by an eerie stillness, as if it were waiting. Captain Holt stood at the center of the bridge, her face a mask of resolve. Status report, she demanded. Lieutenant Hale's fingers flew across his console. Long-range sensors are detecting activity across nearby systems. It's chaotic. Several alien vessels have abruptly changed course. Some are abandoning colonies. Others are broadcasting distress calls. What are they saying? Holt asked. Hale swallowed hard. They're warning others to flee. They're afraid of the phrase. Dr. Elena Vicarian, seated nearby, leaned forward. Captain, this phrase, they are coming, it's not just a warning. It's a trigger. Holt turned to her. Explain. Vicarian gestured to her datapad, which displayed snippets of translations from the artifact. From what I've deciphered, this phrase has been imprinted across countless civilizations over millennia. It's a psychological weapon. Hearing it triggers an overwhelming primal fear. A fear so deeply embedded that it spreads like wildfire. The room grew heavy with the weight of her words. So, it's a form of control? Holt asked. Exactly, Vicarian confirmed. This is how they conquer. They don't need to fight every battle. The phrase does the work for them, paralyzing entire species before they arrive. And humans? Holt's voice was firm, her gaze steady. Vicarian hesitated. We're different. The artifact affects us, but not as deeply. I think it's because our species hasn't been exposed to this conditioning. We're resistant, but not immune. Before Holt could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Red warning lights flared across the bridge. Captain, Hale shouted. Something just entered the system. Multiple somethings. On screen, Holt ordered. The view screen flickered to life, displaying a fleet of enormous, biomechanical ships. They moved with unsettling precision, their surfaces shifting and writhing like living things. At their center loomed a massive vessel, its silhouette blotting out the stars. Vicarian's breath caught. That's them. The enemy the artifact warned about. The comms crackled, and an alien voice spoke. A guttural, resonant sound that seemed to vibrate in their bones. The ship's AI translated the message. You have spoken the words. Prepare to be unmade. Panic rippled through the bridge crew, but Holt's voice cut through the chaos. Enough! The room stilled as she rose to her full height. We are not running. If this is humanity's first encounter with this threat, then we'll show them what we're made of. Hale, get us battle ready. Vicarian, find a way to turn that artifact against them. Vicarian hesitated. Captain, I don't even know if that's possible. Figure it out, Holt snapped. We don't have time to doubt ourselves. As the alien fleet advanced, the Resolute's crew prepared for the fight of their lives. The whispers grew louder, oppressive, but Holt's voice rang clear and defiant. Let them come. The Resolute braced itself for battle, a lone speck of defiance against the vast biomechanical fleet bearing down on it. The enemy ships moved with eerie precision, their forms shifting and pulsing like living organisms. In the containment chamber, the alien artifact emitted a steady, ominous hum, its glow casting long shadows on the walls. Captain Daria Holt stood on the bridge, her gaze unwavering. Hale, weapon status? Fully charged, Captain, Lieutenant Marcus Hale reported. But let's be honest. Our arsenal won't scratch those things. Then we'll have to get creative, Holt said. She turned to Dr. Elena Vicarian, who was furiously typing at her console. Doctor, what's the status of your plan? Vicarian glanced up, sweat beading on her forehead. I think I can reprogram the artifact. If I'm right, we can use its broadcast capabilities to amplify human resistance to their psychological attacks. But it's risky. The artifact could overload and destroy us instead. Risky is all we've got, Holt replied. Do it. The alien fleet began to encircle the Resolute. From the largest ship, a deep, resonant tone echoed across space. A sound that vibrated in their very bones. The ship's AI translated the message. Surrender your will. The inevitable has come. Like hell it has, Holt muttered. Hale, evasive maneuvers. Keep us moving. By Vicarian time, the Resolute darted through the void, its engine screaming as it dodged beams of crackling energy. Each blast narrowly missed, shaking the ship and rattling its crew. Despite the chaos, Vicarian worked with feverish focus, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Captain," Hale called out. "They're locking onto us. We won't last much longer. Just hold them off," Holt barked. Vicarian suddenly straightened. "I've done it. The artifact signal is ready, but it needs a massive power boost. We'll have to divert energy from all non-essential systems, including shields." Holt's jaw tightened. "Do it. Hale, prepare for the shield drop. This is our only shot." The lights across the Resolute dimmed as power was rerouted to the artifact. In the containment chamber, the crystalline object flared to life, emitting a brilliant, pulsating glow. The hum grew louder, building to an almost deafening crescendo. "Artifact broadcasting now," Vicarian shouted. The enemy fleet faltered. The massive central ship, which had loomed so confidently, seemed to hesitate. The oppressive whispers that had filled the Resolute suddenly ceased. "What's happening?" Hale asked. "The artifact is amplifying our defiance," Vicarian explained. "It's broadcasting human resilience, our refusal to surrender, back at them. Their psychological weapon is useless against us." The alien ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart. The central vessel lingered, as though weighing its options, before slowly turning and vanishing into the void. On the bridge, the crew erupted into cheers, but Holt remained focused. "Vicarian, status on the artifact?" "It's stabilizing," Vicarian said, her voice trembling with relief. "It worked, Captain. We've won." Holt allowed herself a small smile. "Not just for us. For everyone." As the Resolute returned to normal operations, the artifact emitted one final pulse, its message now rewritten. "They are no longer coming." The phrase would spread across the galaxy, not as a warning of doom, but as a declaration of hope. Humanity had faced the most terrifying words in the universe, and turned them into a rallying cry.